we said, let's make our top 10 list, all time. We couldn't do it, so we said, let's do a top 100 list. So we first had to get the population of movies that we would consider. Certainly anything that had been nominated for Best Picture from the Academy had to be considered. Certainly the top 500 highest grossing films of all time, as a reflection of people's feeling of how good it is. You should consider those. There are different lists curated by different groups. The American Film Institute puts out 100 Years, 100 Cheers, inspiring movies, all these kinds of things. So we put together a list. We had about 5,000 movies.
Let's make a book out of it.
Well, it's just like, because you can scroll in Amazon. Like you can, some of my favorite movies are Casablanca, Lawrence of Arabia, Gandhi, Patton, Gladiator. I like those big epics.
So you like epics, yeah.
I do. Well, I also love the intimate little bit. I loved L.A. Confidential. I think that was a great movie. There's like actually Melissa Joan Hart, who we're playing husband and wife in this TV show. Is it better if I talk louder? Can't tell if you can hear me or not. But anyhow, she gave me and Kalama, who plays our son, a poster, and I don't even know who it's from, but it has probably like 150 movies on it, and each one has a little scratch off, like a lottery scratch off, that reveals the rest of the poster. And the idea is you see the movie and then you do the scratch off. And it's such an eclectic, what about all the Disney movies? What about Aladdin? What about Lion King? What about horror movies? What about Alien? There's like, so I love movies. In The Frighteners. You guys know The Frighteners? So I was very aware of Peter Jackson, and as it turns out, he was very aware of me, because he had his home theater in his house, this cool theater that looked like he had it designed after an old movie theater with gargoyles on the walls. But anyhow, they watched Rudy, and I think Fran Walsh, his life partner, and and they have children together. They're not married, but anyhow, she had watched Where the Day Takes You. I play a drug addict in Where the Day Takes You, that I did before even Memphis Belle. And when she was delivering her daughter, she was watching that drug movie. Crazy. But so they knew me, and that made me feel a lot more comfortable when it came time to go on an audition. And then the actual scenes, I did 2 scenes. I can't remember what the one scene was, but the emotional one was when he fought back Shelob, the spider, and he goes over to Frodo, and Frodo's been spun up in all Shelob's web, and has been stung by her poison. He thinks he's dead. Don't go where I come from, Mr. Frodo. He's asleep. He's not asleep. He's dead. So that was. I mean, a monkey can read that and do it with emotion. It's just so good. The words are so good. I can't remember what the second scene was, but I did that. Victoria Burrows, the casting director, who also cast my brother in something, and it cast my dad in Frighteners. So we all have, the Astin family has a Victoria Burrows statue in our garden that we touch as we walk by, like the wooden block at the Apollo for luck. You should touch Victoria's stone statue. Yeah, and so I did the audition, and then they sent down the tapes to New Zealand. Tapes, they had a thing called a video cassette. Children, you might not have heard of this, but they would put Federal Express, they would put it in a pouch, and they would carry it physically to the other side of the world so that they could put it in and watch it. And they said, I was one of the finalists, and when he and Fran came back to Los Angeles, they met with a handful of people for different parts, and they met with me. And then I was told that it was between me and there was another actor in England that they really liked for the part. And they were afraid that I was, I had just run the LA Marathon. I was skinny. And they were like, well, it says here he's a stupid fat hobbit. So I put together some clips of me in a fatter mode and sent those down, and they hired me. So there you go.
You work with child actors. What is the biggest difference to you? What do you see as being like the greatest change between being a child actor and the new children actors coming in? No. So if you were a child actor and you've worked with children actors, what do you see as the difference from then till now?
I think the kids are smarter now. I think they're more talented now. I think I always feel lucky when I get to work with kids now. You know, because it's so competitive. The ones who make it usually have the strongest personalities and the most professionalism. It's very rare you find yourself in a movie with a kid who doesn't know what they're doing. Now, the standard, the pool of available young performers is really just keeps growing and growing. And I find I'm in the dad years of my career, so I keep playing dad to lots of kids, and I find myself wanting to share my stories and experience with them, so that when they get older, they can be like, "Oh, he shared this story and experience with me." We all have a role to play. My mom, who was also Academy Award-winning child actor and a stone cold professional. You know, if you're an actor and you walk into a room like a green room, and there are other performers there, an older performer, say for example, if it's appropriate, the thing to do, and it's like this probably in every realm, but you know, politicians, I see politicians do it, I'm sure teachers do it, but you just go over and you pay your respects. Well, it's an interesting thing, because you know, my mother, you guys know Patty Duke, my mom, rest in peace. She's from New York. She was born in Bellevue. How far away is Bellevue? That's not too far, is it?
It's up in Manhattan, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask my brother when I see him tonight exactly where she's from. I don't want to where she grew up, because there's I'm not sure I get that right. But anyhow, she basically got them to cast me in an after-school special when I was 7, and you know, it's the opposite of what most actors. Most actors are waiting tables and you know, honing their craft and you know, classes and everything, and they're waiting to be discovered. I was basically just kind of handed it as a kid. So because it came to me that way, I always respected and appreciated the good fortune that was. But my mind was open to other things too. Maybe be a teacher or a politician or somebody, I don't know. So it was when I was 18, right after Memphis Belle actually, that I decided, okay, I have to take the craft of acting a little more seriously than just being comfortable in front of the camera and naturalistic. I have to develop some technique, some skill. So I went and studied with Stella Adler, who's one of the great acting teachers of the last 100 years. So anyway, so that, yeah. And then my whole life has been about doing it lots of different things, you know. And I'm lucky, because what happens is, when it's been a while since I've acted in something, I'll start to, the metronome, the ticking clock will start going again, and that's when I'll start calling the agents, you know. Now my career, I've had such a good career, I've been so blessed that they'll call me with stuff. I don't get offered parts straight away all the time. A lot of time, if I want something, I have to audition for it. And so, which is good. It shows you want it, and it lets you see as well as them if you're right for something. Because when you're working on audition scenes, you figure out if the words sit in you good. So, but anyway, yeah, acting. Have I always wanted to act? Yes, among other things.
Okay, fantastic. And speaking of your acting career, do you have anything coming up in the future?
I do have something coming up. Raise your hand if you saw Stranger